Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and why don't you sit back, relax, and let me tell you about Onimusha Warlords. Quick disclaimer, the review code was provided by the publisher. In Onimusha Warlords, you will be playing as Samanosuke Akechi, a samurai who has fought against the armies of Nobunaga Oda, often referred to as the Demon King. During the first cutscene, Nobunaga is struck by an arrow to the throat, thus killing him and relieving Samanosuke of his duties to battle against his armies any longer. After the battle and after a year of waiting, Samanosuke receives a letter from his cousin, the Princess Yuki. She says that there is something going on in the castle that she lives at, and that people are reporting monsters are killing the maids and the servants. Samanosuke naturally goes to check it out and to help his cousin. Samanosuke is a very strong samurai and is a very strong human overall, but the castle is invaded by demons, and a single human especially, without any extra abilities, is simply no match for the demons that are infesting the area. It doesn't take long for him to be taken out, and he is imbued with the power of the Oni, which is a gauntlet that allows him to absorb demon souls and to use magic powerful weapons. After receiving these gifts, it is time for you to go to work and start slaying some demons and getting their souls. The demon blight has already infested a majority of the castle and there are very few survivors left, but with Samanosuke on the case and his new magic weapons, there is a chance for victory. Onimusha Warlords is at times a hack and slash, but it is mostly an action RPG, and it's kind of an interesting one at that. You can just spam square. I was playing on PS4. You can spam square for a very quick and reliable combo. However, if you hold R1, you can actually adjust the way the sword swings. So you can swing to the left or the right, up and down, underneath attacks, kicks, things like that. But you don't have to do it. You can just spam square and actually get through the game pretty effectively. There are two key disadvantages to not using your stance. The first is that when enemies are on the ground, you can't stab and finish them. The second is the dodge is tied to that stance button. You can block without the stance button, but dodging, you have to hold R1 or whatever the button will be on Xbox and even Switch. You will have three main blades that you will use throughout the game. Each of them has a magic elemental tied to it. You will have lightning, fire, and wind. There are also a couple of sub-weapons that you can pick up throughout the game. They're actually missable if you don't explore enough. While the sub-weapons can be missed, they aren't required to progress. The magic weapons, however, are, so you can't miss any of the three magic swords. The magic weapons are actually very powerful, which is why your mana is limited. You can generally get, assuming you get all the upgrades, 4 magic hits in before you don't have any mana left. Now the demons will drop mana and HP orbs, but they're a lot more rare than the experience orbs. The way it's designed is pretty obvious. If you need to get out of a sticky situation, you can use your magic, but you can't use it so much that you can't just blow through every single enemy over and over. On the other hand, if you have a full mana bar for every weapon when you get to a boss, it's going to be a lot easier because you can just spam the attack. Even if you don't have mana, you can still kill the demons the old-fashioned way. Cut them down with your blade, use the obstacles in the game to kill them, things like that. The progression in the game is also tied to these swords. You can upgrade the blade itself, making your physical attacks stronger, or you can upgrade the magic inside the blade, which will make the magic stronger and also allow you to progress through certain doors. Those are kind of how the keys work in this game. If you need, let's say, 2 of your lightning sword, you need the Shiden, which is the magic inside the lightning sword, to be level 2 to progress through that door. This is where the normal red demon souls come from. You use them to upgrade your weapons and your magic on your weapons. You can also use them to change an herb to medicine, which is the stronger healer, and change your ammo types as well. This does mean that progression could potentially be locked behind a grind, meaning that you have to actually go out and kill enemies over and over to level yourself up. I personally did not run into this problem. If you kill the demons as they pop up for the most part, you might not max out your swords, but you'll have more than enough souls and experience to progress through the game with no trouble. Speaking of progressing through the game, it's really only like a 4 to 6 hour experience tops. It's not that long. This is an old school PS2 game. Don't forget, that is the length of those games back in the day. So you don't expect to be playing this game for 80 hours. I mentioned earlier that it is possible to miss certain sub-weapons. That is either due to lack of exploration or because what is on the screen right now. These are called trick treasure boxes, and there are a lot of them. For instance, if you don't solve the one that has the bow in it, you don't get the bow, plain and simple. You also will miss out on certain items, certain upgrades, and even certain armors if you don't solve these. There are two types of chests, the one with the number puzzle, and the other one is called a decoder puzzle. These ones have basically questions that need to be answered, but I think they're Japanese symbols. I'm not 100% sure, but you need to find out which symbols equals the words to answer the question. Again, not exactly easy. These are some old school PS2 puzzles, and they will try you. There are also other puzzles throughout the game that don't involve the chests. You have to solve them in order to progress through the game. These ones aren't as bad. Well, there's one that's really bad, but most of them are pretty easy. Another issue people might run into is the fact that you do have to play as the female ninja Kaide, who is Samanosuke's friend, partner, whatever you want to call it. She's not as strong, doesn't have as much HP, and does not have magic. However, she uses kunai, which are actually very effective against low-level demons, and she's fast. She's very fast. I actually just ran through most of the enemies because I didn't want to fight. She can't absorb souls, so she doesn't get experience. I didn't really have a super big issue with this until I died with her and I got pushed back like a half hour. That's really on me though, because I didn't save. She is very competent when it comes to fighting if you are good with the R1 button. She's fast, she can jump, she has some very unique attacks compared to Samanosuke, and she can also kill enemies very quickly as soon as they fall. But she is weaker. The easier option, in my opinion, is just to run through. Now we're going to hit what doesn't work very well. You do have to save yourself. It's a manual save system, as the original Onimusha was, as most of the original Capcom games were. It can just be frustrating to get pushed back. And that's not really a fault of the game so much, but players can easily get annoyed with it. Another thing is the fact that this was a very early PS2 game. The dub is garbage. It is awful. I recommend you listen to the English dub just so you know how far we've actually come from the old days. People hadn't quite figured it out yet. Lip sync is terrible. The voice actors, not good. I'm not saying it's an easy job, but you should check it out just to see what I'm talking about. The other thing is the fixed camera angles. I feel like a lot of us, especially a lot of us old school Resident Evil players, look back on it kind of fondly. But we forget with the Onimusha is that the demons shoot arrows. So if you don't see them on screen, you're just going to get hit. There's not much you can do about it. You don't even know they're there. And it's very annoying because it happens a lot. Anyone who enjoyed the original Onimusha is not going to be disappointed with this remaster. Same goes for anyone who's wanted to try the series or even likes action RPGs. The price point is right. It's 20 bucks. It's only about 5 hours long, like I said. And it actually holds up very well. Check it out if you are interested in any type of action RPG or even samurai games. That will do it for this review. If you liked what you saw and got what you needed, you know how it goes. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.